Hello, magical people. Welcome back to my channel. Oh my God, I'm having all these freaking. Sorry, you guys. I've been having technical issues all day today, and I think I'm really feeling this Mercury retrograde coming up. Anyways, how's everybody doing? My name's Meg Moonbeam, and welcome back to my channels. Today, I'm going to be talking about our astrology for the week ahead of Sunday, July 13th, going to Saturday, July 19th. We are entering retrograde city, as we like to say in the astrology community. We have Pluto retrograde, Neptune retrograde. This week we have, well, actually, Saturn very early in the day today, Eastern time, went retrograde. We're having Mercury go retrograde this week. So we're going to talk about the energies of the astrology of this week and whatever else comes up. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Before we get into the astrology, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channels. I really appreciate all your support and recently just hit 16,000 subscribers. Thank you guys on my YouTube for subscribing, my Rumble and X as well. And if you'd like to check out my offerings, they're available in the description box of this video. My social media links, workshops, courses, readings, yada, 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 all kind of stuff. Earlier today, thank you, Chrissy. Thank you. Yay. Earlier today, I hosted the Astrocartography Part 2 workshop over on the Beyond Mystic Academy. And hope you guys that joined in had lots of fun. I know I had lots of fun. We went deeper into locational astrology method of astrocartography. So if you'd like to catch the replay, get unlimited replay access, that's available over at the link below. And also, I've got something else coming up this week. I'm super excited to be in person hosting an Age of Aquarius live lecture out of Akasha's Den in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. Akasha's Den is a spiritual store and center that I really started my spiritual awakening journey at, and I worked there from 2012 to 2016. So I'm so happy to be back as a facilitator with Mary and Alex and the team. So if you'd like to join us in person Saturday, July 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern or an online streaming pass, either of those tickets are available at the link in the description box below. And really, when we look at the outer picture of what the heck is going on here, we're entering the Age of Aquarius. So I'm going to talk about what the heck the Age of Aquarius means, how we can best work with the energies, and whether you're joining in live, in person, or online, you will get unlimited replay access to the lecture. So I'm so excited about that. Yay, yay, yay. So, oh my God. Celestial Emma, it's nice to see more in-person events coming into our realm. I am feeling really, really guided to be doing more in-person events. Still going to be doing all the online stuff that I'm doing, but I feel like it is so important during these times for us to, as much as possible, when possible, be gathering in person for sure. Julie says, I'd love to come see you at Akasha's Den. It's not that far from me, but we're busy getting ready for our Earthbeat Festival. Ooh, yes, Julie, that is very, very exciting. And if you guys are in the Southern Ontario area, definitely go check out Julie's Earthbeat Festival. Go to earthbeat.ca. It's going to be the weekend, July 25th to 27th, an amazing in-person gathering for like-minded people. And I don't know about you guys, but like the most bliss I've ever felt in my life is when I'm at in-person, like-minded events, ceremonies, festivals, all that kind of stuff. So really, really important during these times. So today we're going to be talking about our astrology for the week ahead. Now, is it just me or is anybody else feeling the retrograde energy? Maybe because Saturn just went retrograde earlier today. I'm really feeling the wonk, as we like to say, but I'm also feeling the incoming Mercury retrograde. We are, of course, in the pre-shadow period up until the day that Mercury actually moves direct, which is on July 18th. So let's start off with the beginning of this week. Sunday, July 13th, I'm filming this video, and very early today at 12:07 a.m. Eastern Time, Granddaddy Saturn went retrograde. Okay. And at the moment, we've got 3 of the outer planets retrograde as we're starting the week. Pluto, who's been retro since May 4th, Neptune, who's been retro since July 4th and 4th, and Saturn now retrograde. Very, very interesting. Okay, we've got this Saturn Neptune conjunction happening that if you guys have been following me already, then you've heard me talk about this a bit. I'm actually going to do a whole separate standalone video just on this Saturn Neptune conjunction next week. Yeah, next week or the week after. It'll be coming up soon. I'll talk about what this means for the whole collective really in depth because there's a lot to say about this and also for each of the 12 signs. So stay tuned. But it's interesting that we've now got Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries, the same sign, within a 1-degree orb, both retrograde. Okay. So we're going to start to be feeling today this conjunction influence even stronger. Okay. Let me just backtrack for a moment. Saturn is going to be going retrograde from July 13th all the way until November 7th. Oh my God, that is a long time of a Saturn retrograde. And we're in a retrograde city this summer, okay? This is going to be, by the end of the month, 5 heavenly bodies retrograde because Chiron is going retrograde as well later on in the month. So I'm going to talk about what Saturn is all about retrograde in particular, as well as the Mercury retrograde, some other significant transits that we've got happening this week. But just want to hone in on, okay, this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, what is this all about? There's a lot to say about this. I'll go in depth in a separate video just on it. But we are really seeing, and we're really seeing in the past week in particular, Saturn, the systems and structures of life, government and politicians, the rules, regulations, energy that holds us together, right? Dissolve. Neptune. Neptune rules dissolving. And I find it so interesting that within this past week, we've had, I'm sure many of you guys have heard, the Jeffrey Epstein files drama, total drama show of the Trump administration saying, basically, case closed, nothing to see here. We're moving on. There's no blacklist. There's nothing else to see here. Let's stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Which is creating a really big, I'm going to use the word divide and also wound within the freedom movement, within the Trump supporter movement. There's no denying, okay, whatever you believe about that situation, that it's really not nice to hear that, okay, case closed, we're done with Jeffrey Epstein. So what's coming up for me as we go into this week, Saturn now retrograde, Saturn Neptune conjunct. So we're feeling that conjunction even stronger, which is the dissolving of our systems and structures of life, which, by the way, this conjunction will not be exact until February, is it 18th or 19th? One of those days, 2026. Okay. It's all dissolving. I'm really feeling this really strong from spirit. It's like no matter what side of the aisle you are on, no matter whether you are Democrat, Republican, Black, white, whatever you identify with, whatever you stand as, all our systems, Saturn, are dissolving Neptune. And something completely new is being created. The politicians are dissolving, the political groups are dissolving, the way that we've done politics and governments and rules and regulations, that is all dissolving. Okay, and it's kind of freaking weird, right? A lot of it is unexpected. A lot of it is shocks and surprises because at the same time, Uranus, now in Gemini, 0-degree, critical degree, very strong. Weird, Uranus, information, news, Gemini. So there is a lot going on. Julie says, bring on the age of Aquarius and all the new things. Totally. Deb says, I'm still a Trump supporter. There's more to the story. There's years to go. I think it's not over yet. Possible. Okay, possible. I personally don't believe, and I've said this a few times already, I personally don't think we're going to have the full clarity of what the F is going on here until late spring, summer of next year, when all the outer planets are finally full on in their new respective signs. This summer, we're getting a taste of new energies with all the outer planets in air and fire signs out of the mud, earth and water signs. But there's a retrograde city. Okay, so there's still confusion, there's still the past and reflection, and there's things that we need to really confront and take stock of. Okay, Saturn retrograde is about reviewing and reflecting. Retrogrades are always about reviewing and reflecting, right? Government, politicians, the practical side of life, our work and career, responsibility, discipline, reality checks. Okay. Granddaddy Saturn, reality checks. What is going on in the physical reality? Yes, there's a bunch of potentials. Yes, there's a bunch of possibilities. Yes, there may be 5D chess going on, but what really matters with Saturn retrograde is paying attention to the reality checks, the present moment, how we're being affected in real time, right? And that actions, Aries, align with words and information, Gemini. Okay. Saturn is also about achievement and boundaries. So I'm just going to repeat this again because this is very important, you guys. And this is going to be a very strong Saturn retrograde. And as I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes, a very strong Mercury retrograde for different reasons. Very strong Saturn retrograde because Saturn is going to be retrograde, conjunct Neptune. We've got a great conjunction happening with two of the outer planets. In Aries, the first astrological sign, and at critical degrees for a lot of the time, 1 degree, 0 degree, 29 degrees, 28 degrees. Let me actually check here. Bear with me one moment, you guys. I'm just going to check on my astrology program. When Saturn goes direct, what degree is he going to go until? Oh, sorry. Saturn is retrograde until November 27th. I said the 7th, meant to say 27th. Saturn's going back to 25. 1, 0, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. So for most of the time, critical degrees, critical reality checks that we need to be paying attention to. Okay. And we're feeling it very strong, the Saturn retrograde this week, because it's the beginning of the retrograde. The beginning, middle, and the end are the most potent, points. So I think this week, with us having Saturn having just gone retrograde in Aries at an Aries degree, conjunct Neptune, and Mercury going retrograde in Leo, the whole Mercury retrograde will be in Leo. Another sign that rules politicians, also rules royalty, celebrity, people in the public light. This week, I think it's already started happening with the Epstein file thing, but it's going to continue happening of a dissolving of leaders, people in powerful positions. And part of the positive side that I'm seeing from this whole drama show of the Epstein files in particular, and I'm going to do a whole separate video too this week on the astrology of the Epstein files, so stay tuned for that. Part of the positive of it is, even though it's very frustrating for many of us, it's bringing the topic into the forefront. A lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of people are demanding that the information, Mercury and Gemini, gets revealed. Also, in terms of the Saturn retrograde, if you're a Capricorn or Aquarius rising, Saturn is your chart ruler, so you will feel this Saturn retrograde very strong. It will really, really affect you. Also, we want to look at the dispositor of Saturn retrograde. At the moment, Saturn is in Aries until September 1st. So the dispositor is the ruler of Aries, which is Mars. Okay. And we're having also this week, not just Saturn retro, not just Mercury retro, not just Mercury retro. Oh my God, you guys, I can't even talk. Not just a Mercury sextile Venus. Okay, that's a positive aspect. Thank God. But we're also having, this is the week leading up to exact Mars conjunct the South Node, which is going to be next Sunday, July 20th. So I'm actually going to do also a whole separate video on that this week. So stay tuned. I've got lots of videos to do coming up. So with the dispositor of Saturn retrograde in Aries, Mars in Virgo conjunct the South Node, guys, this is another influence showing a huge release. Neptune is about release and dissolving. The South Node is about release, dissolving, loss of energy. And it's not just in governments and politics, it's also in the Virgo areas: health, wellness, the health institutions. And we're going to see within the influence of this Saturn retrograde, supposedly RFK Jr. and the Maha group do their press conference on what the heck is causing the childhood disease epidemic at some point in August. And that's been one of my big predictions, even before they announced that. For the past year, I've been saying there's going to be the truth about autism, the truth about the shots, you know what, all this stuff is coming out. My original prediction was, around the next eclipse season, which is beginning to mid-September, which is in range with August. So that is, I think, accurate. So this is big. This Saturn retrograde, this is big. And this can feel, particularly when Saturn is at 1 degree, 0 degree, 29 degrees, like he is now, heavy reality checks, heavy responsibilities that we need to be taken care of, and truths around our work and career. Okay, because there's many jobs that people have right now that are not going to be here moving forward into this new system. And for some, that may be harsh and challenging, but there's very positive opportunities coming for all of us moving forward. And remember, you guys, we're moving into positive times. So we're starting off the week. We've got Moon in Aquarius right now. Saturn just went retrograde today. We're going to have the Moon in Aquarius and then move into Pisces Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, Moon ingresses into Aries. For Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have that Moon in Aries conjunct Saturn and Neptune conjunction, with those guys retrograde for the first time. So we're also going to be feeling the emotional implications of Saturn now retrograde very, very strong. You know, Saturn is at fall position in the sign of Aries. So one of the challenges of this retrograde can definitely be impatience. Saturn is time and patience and success through time. Aries is, I want it now. I want it fast. I don't want to wait. I want to do things right now in the present moment. So one of the challenges is patience. And we can definitely be feeling that this week. And we're definitely feeling it with, I know I keep using the example, but just saying, because it's such a big news story, the Epstein file thing. It's like, can we just please fucking put this information out now? We all know that it's real. Okay. Can this just come out, please? Can the health stuff come out, please? Can Diddy be held accountable? There's frustration around some things taking longer than we would want them to. Infinitely says patience is a virtue. Definitely. On what day is that? Friday? Yeah, Friday, Mercury goes retrograde. Okay. So if you are a Gemini or Virgo rising, you're going to be feeling this the strongest because your ruler Mercury going retrograde from July 17th to August 10th, 2025, that few week period. We're going to be having Mercury retrograde from 15 degrees of Leo to 4 degrees of Leo. So if you have any astrological placements between, let's see here, like 20 degrees to 0 degrees of Leo, you're going to be very affected by this retrograde. See what you have around those degrees. Mercury retrograde, we can really, really feel. That's why astrologers, we put so much emphasis on it, because Mercury rules our day-to-day life, communication, gadgets, short distance travel. It rules a lot of different things, and our mind as well. Things can feel really wonky when Mercury is retrograde, and we always want to take a great sacred pause, not make any major decisions, not sign any major documents if possible, while Mercury is retrograde. We definitely want to back up our devices, make sure our cars, our gadgets, our vehicles are all in order, because there's more of a propensity for glitches and things to break down and just overall confusion. So, it's always a little bit challenged with a Mercury retrograde, but the positive is we're being invited to review and reflect on Mercury ruled areas, also Leo ruled areas, since this Mercury retrograde is in the sign of Leo. Okay. So, what does Leo rule? Leo is the only sign in astrology that ruled by the sun. It's about love, light, fun, play, our inner child, creativity, our passions, our gifts and talents. It also rules, famous people, politicians, celebrities, as I said, the entertainment industry. So, on the personal level, this Mercury retrograde, starting on Friday and going until August 10th, is inviting us to review and reflect on how can we bring more fun, passion, play into our lives. When's the last time that we connected to our inner child? Are we honoring our inner child? Are we creative? Are we sexual? Are we showcasing our gifts and talents? This Mercury retrograde is a great time to be in creativity, showcasing our gifts and talents, working on creative passion projects behind the scenes. Not the best time to be putting something new out there, but to be brainstorming, working on something behind the scenes. And this is going to be a really strong Mercury retrograde, because the dispositor, the sun, will be at home in Leo for most of the retrograde. I think starting on July 21st or 22nd. Can't remember the exact date. So we are going to really be feeling these retrogrades very strong. And it's normal, you guys, if during the next few weeks, not just this week, but during the next few weeks, if you just have moments where you're like, I need to stop. I need to stop moving. I need to stop proactively be doing something. I need to just be like relaxing, chilling, resting, reviewing. That's the natural energies with the astrology right now. In particular, during the Mercury retrograde, July 17th to August 10th, sacred pause. Be Balanced says decluttering these days. Yeah, decluttering is an amazing thing to do. Cleaning out your spaces, cleaning out, detoxifying yourself as well, for sure. During this Mercury retrograde, we're going to have a very dramatic new moon in Leo. Separate video incoming on that. That new moon in Leo will be in an exact opposition to Pluto. So I'm just going to say this, okay? We are going to see leaders fall. We are going to see leaders fall big time. Ones that are going to shock you, Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius. Some that we've been expecting, that it's been overdue. There is going to be a fall of very powerful people. We're in a moment right now where it may seem like that's not going to be happening, and it is really, really frustrating, but we have to get to this point where it's basically going to be forced by we the people. And I do think that we're going to be starting to really see this over the next few weeks, for sure. So, predictions collectively for this Mercury retrograde, further exposing of politicians, royalty, celebrities through journalism, independent media, documents, texts, phone calls going public. I think there's a possibility that RFK Jr. might do his press conference on the Maha report sooner than expected. I'm going to predict that astrologically as well. I know that's expected for some point in August, but I could see it happening earlier rather than later for sure. Remember, Leo, Mercury retrograde in Leo, also rules children. Truths, information, facts, dealings having to do with children, children's health. Okay. Also, this is kind of weird. Okay, we're in very weird times. President Trump's natal Pluto is 10 degrees of Leo. J.D. Vance's sun is 10 degrees of Leo. So President Trump and J.D. Vance in synastry have a Pluto Sun conjunction. Okay, that's very intense. That could be expressed in many different ways. Could be a very powerful and transformative combination. Could be one takes out the other, one betrays the other, one does something really fucked up to the other. We'll see how that plays out. This Mercury retrograde, with it going from 15 degrees of Leo to 4 degrees of Leo, the whole time is going to be conjunct Trump's natal Pluto and J.D. Vance's natal Sun. So they are going to be very affected by this retrograde. It's interesting. I haven't seen, let me know if you guys have, if you feel like sharing, but I haven't seen J.D. Vance really comment that much on X, or I watch independent media. I don't watch mainstream news, but he seems to be kind of quiet as of late, which is kind of weird with what's going on. Trump, with this Mercury retrograde on his natal Pluto, okay, might be exposed for something. There may be very powerful secrets from his past that will be forced to come to the surface. And just to be clear, you guys, I don't think that President Trump is like evil. That's my personal interpretation. But our natal Pluto really can show our personal shadow side. And with this Mercury retrograde on his Pluto, maybe part of the Epstein file. Oh, hey, JC, nice to see you. Maybe part of the Epstein file being dealt in the way that it is, and I could be completely wrong with this, but just saying astrological potential, maybe there is some sort of, I want to say the word dirt, but there's a better word. Maybe there is some sort of connection or experience he had that he doesn't want to go out into the public. Something is going to be revealed definitely about him and his past. We can also see major power struggles between President Trump and J.D. Vance with this Mercury retrograde, right conjunct Trump's Pluto, J.D. Vance's Sun, which are in exact conjunction to each other. So I know that's a little bit of technical astrology, you guys, but information, Mercury rules information regarding both Trump and J.D. Vance coming out about both of them. Mercury retrograde also, it's not the best time to be communicating, not the best time to, especially if you're someone like President Trump or J.D. Vance, not the best time to be like doing a press conference, trying to explain something. So I can see their communication coming off as very confusing, even like backtracking over the course of the next few weeks. But it feels like with the astrology that we're building up. Everything that's happening right now, as frustrating as it is, it feels like it's happening for a reason, to build up to like a kabang, kabang, if you will, a fireworks of something being revealed where everybody's paying attention to it. That really intense moment of, well, I think there can actually be multiple very intense moments, but the new moon in Leo, let me actually show you guys this chart for a moment, because this is freaking wild. The Leo new moon on July 24th as I said earlier, exact Sun-Pluto opposition. Sun, Moon, 2 degrees of Leo, opposite Pluto, 2 degrees of Aquarius. With Saturn, Neptune conjunct retrograde, with Pluto retrograde, with Mercury retrograde in Leo, with Mars conjunct the South Node. I mean, they're with Uranus still 0 degrees of Gemini. Huge exposing the whole next month. The whole next month. I'm going to sound like a broken record. You guys are going to be sick of me saying this. It's going to be, and I'm seeing intuitively, chess pieces, people being thrown off the chessboard, people being exposed, presidents, prime ministers losing their power, celebrities losing their power, powerful people, Pluto and Leo, being exposed, losing their power. Lots of information being revealed this Mercury retrograde. And around this Leo new moon, because it isn't in opposition to Pluto, it's going to be freaky, deaky stuff. I got to be careful here because I'm on YouTube as well as Rumble. When it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, okay, there's also the element of, and not everybody knows this, he was obsessed with, what's the right way for me to say this without getting banned on YouTube? He wanted his, I'm just feeling out if I should say this or not. Yeah, I'm going to be careful with how I say this. He was very interested in experiments. It went even deeper than what most people are talking about. Check out a lady called Juliet Bryant. She's on X. She's getting interviewed a lot lately. Jens and I have known about her for a very long time. She's a survivor of Epstein. She talks about this. This goes deep. This goes into experiments. This goes into underground bases. I'm not going to say more than that. Some of you guys might be like, what the fuck is she talking about? But this goes deeper than just someone having a power trip or abuse of children, which I know is horrible and that is very deep, but it goes even weirder than that. So prepare yourself, you guys. Kathy says, we know. Okay, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Julie says, Juliet Bryant. Yes, go check out Juliet Bryant. And what I'm trying to say, she actually said very clearly in her interview with Owen Schroyer from InfoWars yesterday. Yes, JC says, all roads lead to ETs. Yes, it has to do with that. So, you know, also our normie loved ones, they're about to be really, really tripped out by files, documents that are going to be released. And I really think James O'Keefe, you know, he's going to have some amazing exposés, I think, over the course of the next month, showing this goes weird. This goes really, really deep. Okay. Literally into the ground, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Literally things going on under the ground with some of these people that went to the island and in the desert and what was done to them, which then was a preparation for things done to a lot of the population. So sorry, that's very vague, but yeah. So this is intense, you guys. This is intense. We've had our nice little Cancer season. Okay, that was the most positive sun season of the year. And this is our last week of sun in Cancer, and we're leading up to Leo season starting next week, retrograde city starting this week, and things starting to ramp up more and more intense. And again, Spirit wants me to say this is not negative. Let me be very clear. And there are challenging negative things going on all over the world, sending my prayers out to the people in Texas and what happened to you guys recently. But It's a challenge in the sense that there's different layers that the information and the disclosure needs to come out. And starting this week, we start to go to that next layer of what's going on here. Okay. JC says third week of July, with I think a link to something from Cliff, so you guys can go check that out if you want. Yeah, third week of July. This is the second week of July. Yeah, so yeah, third week of July. That's what we're entering. Again, exactly, infinitely, not negative. It's eye-opening. We need to know this. And I've been feeling so strongly it's going to be very important for us in our like-minded community to, when we need to, take a step back, take a little break from the screens, because a lot of us have known a lot of this stuff that's coming out, but we don't know the whole story. Okay, there's going to be weird stuff that none of us even knew. That's my personal feeling. But it is a lot. We're literally light warriors at this time. We need to be very disciplined with our self-care. And if you have moments where it's feeling like it's too much for you to keep up with what's going on, support your loved ones that are waking up, take a step back, take some breaks, nourish yourself. So that's going to be really, really important. And the Mercury retrograde, I love with that too, because Mercury retrograde in Leo, it's the sign that rules our inner child. It's also going to be really helpful to review and reflect on, what are the things that your inner child loves to do? How does your inner child love to play, cope with things, self-soothe? Okay, it may sound silly, but inner child work is very, very important. My inner child, I love to be silly. I love to play music. I love to dance. So those are things during this retrograde, definitely going to be doing a lot more of. Anything else I want to share with you guys? Yeah, we'll continue to talk throughout the week. The Mars conjunct South Node, that's a really big thing. And let's pull some cards. I'm curious to see what's going to come up with JD Vance with this retrograde, because he's being very quiet. Okay, let's pull some cards for this week ahead. What does the universe want us to know with these transits that we've got going on? Okay. Seven of Wands, King of Swords, Temperance, and let's pull a bonus card. The Page of Wands. Okay. So we've got two, my God, I can't even talk. I'm feeling this retrograde. Two wands. I forgot the word for wands. Geez Louise. So Seven of Wands. This is interesting because the affirmation is there may be challenges ahead, but you can face them. That's exactly the energy we're going into this week. We're going into this Leo season with it's not going to be easy. We're not being punished. We were built for these times. We chose to be here during these times. We can face the challenges that are coming ahead. We can handle the weird information and truths that are going to be coming ahead as well. I haven't even had time to look into yet the frickin', what was it called? Dark Maha report that Nicole Shanahan just put out. There's like so much being revealed. Gonna have to read that. Yeah. It is a challenging energy, but we can get through it. King of Swords, being the master of dealing with the information that's coming forward. Think things through from all perspectives. Be open to different perspectives. There's going to be things that maybe we were wrong about. Maybe we weren't seeing clearly. Truths coming out more and more, us getting the picture, but it's happening in phases. Again, it's not happening all at once. We keep getting that message. So, okay, that's nice. We're getting the King of Swords. Temperance, I know this is the card that's very much about balancing forces, opposing forces coming into tranquility together. For me, intuitively, whenever I see this Temperance card, I get a very healing energy from it. So even though there's challenge and there's weird information coming up and situations that we got to deal with, it's a great time for healing and even greater balance and serenity coming forward in our lives. And our bonus card for the week is the Page of Wands. So, being curious, the pages do have to do with younger people, the inner child ruled by Leo, staying curious, having fun. We can have fun through the challenges. We can decide how much we're listening to frickin', for me, sometimes I'll spend hours and hours and hours just like listening to InfoWars and, the different conspiracy channels we listen to. But sometimes, okay, we need to take a step back. We need to come out of that logical mind, that conspiracy space. We need to step into fun, play, upliftment, taking breaks, doing things that are in enjoyment as a discipline, making your inner child, making a discipline for your inner child, if that makes sense. Rather, being disciplined with your inner child and your needs of what uplifts you, right? Yeah, MJ, patience and healing too for the Temperance. Totally. Totally. So that's what I've got for you guys for today. I've missed you guys so much on the live shows. Very excited that on Beyond Mystic, we're going to be back this week for our regular scheduled programming, which I think starts on Wednesday, if I'm correct. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the next daily Astro show, and Beyond Crystals. Those happen on Wednesday. So Connie says, heal and play, be creative. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys. And thank you guys so much, everyone that joined me in the Astrocartography Part 2 workshop that we just did earlier this afternoon on the Beyond Mystic Academy. So much fun. Really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I put a lot of work into it. Over 2-hour workshop going deeper into astrocartography, which is a form of locational astrology. So if you'd like to catch the replay, you can go check that out at the link in the description box below. And I'm sending lots of love your way. We're getting through these times. You should all be very, very proud of yourselves. And I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Bye, everybody.